to your breath flow expansion practice. And if you would like to follow along with my playlist, it is Slips Away Slow Flow on Spotify. And you'll see that I have here two blocks. We're going to start off with a supported heart opener. So you can also choose to skip that if this looks like it's going to be too intense. If the blocks pressing up against your back are too much, you can also, if you have a pillow or a bolster, I don't have a bolster and I didn't think to grab a pillow, you can lay those on top at an angle and then rest back that way, and it's a little bit softer, right? So just choosing whatever it is that resonates the most with you, and allowing yourself to open up. We also have a couple of options with this block to go horizontally or vertically. You're going to kind of feel that out for yourself, but ideally it's going to hit maybe around your second to last floating rib. And as I lay down, I'll kind of move and adjust and talk you through it. If you would like to follow along with the playlist, go ahead and get it started. I really miss being able to play music with y'all. I hate that. I really enjoy the music component and how it can also guide you into just a meditative state, which, depending on how traditional you are with your yoga practice, some people don't like music. So I guess this is the way that we meet everybody's needs, right? So as you're ready, finding that space. So I bring my feet down to the mat about hip width distance apart, and then I roll back until I find where I want it to hit. And you can also go down to level one with this block, right? It doesn't have to be lifted this way. I'm going to play around with this today. And then you also have the option for this block back here behind the head. Some people like to let their head hang back. If that doesn't bother your cervical spine in any way, it's like your neck, you do have that option. But if you don't like that, then you're going to rest your head on the back of a block, on the back of your head on a block. And then once you find your spot, ooh, I just popped a little. Your legs can either extend forward, they can stay knees bent with your feet on the earth. Whatever kind of works for you. I'm going into a Supta Baddha Konasana, a butterfly leg. Soles of the feet together, your heels come in towards your sits bones. And then you can let your arms rest down by the side body. You could also rest them on your body, right? So whatever resonates. And as I was planning this class today, this week in my public classes in the studio, I had everybody start standing. And I thought, man, no, these Friday people are going to kill me. So here we are, opening up in this space. Relax your brows and your jaw. You can wiggle it from side to side. And I had the request for heart openers, and I thought, you know what, I could really use that. It's been a rough week, personally. So here we are, opening up through the fronts of your shoulders, your chest. And wherever you are in your breath cycle, go ahead and exhale completely. Let it all go. And then take a deep inhale. Allow for your belly to expand, for your rib cage to open. You're going to go to full capacity with your breath. And then exhale, empty it back out, releasing, relaxing. Inhale through your nose. And exhale, either through the nose, through the mouth. And then just breathe at your own pace, but match your inhale and your exhale both in duration and intensity. Giving yourself this moment, this space, this pause and time to drop into your practice. This gift of stepping out of the rest of your life for about an hour, however long you're here. Just a couple more breaths here. Now, if your knees are open, I want you to take your feet flat to the earth first. Point your knees to the sky. And then bring your elbows and your forearms to the ground so that you can lift your head off the top block. Roll onto one arm and remove the blocks out from underneath you. And then roll your spine back down to the ground so that you're flat. Let everything rest for a moment. Come back into your breath. And then hug your knees in towards your chest. Wrap your arms around your shins. You can rock side to side. And then a happy baby if it's available this early in practice. It is early, so don't push or pull. You can stay hugging the knees in. Either way, you can still rock side to side if that feels right in your body. Let's take one more inhale, whatever you've chosen to do. And then exhale, hug your knees back in. Wrap your arms around your shins for just a second, and then fingertips to your hamstrings. And let's spinal rock forward and backward, the full length of your spine. Now you keep your low belly pulled in so that your back doesn't, and you keep your low back rounded so that it doesn't slap against the mat. And then you might take like 3 of these, yeah. And then let's come forward, grab my towel here, and come into all fours. So I'm gonna shimmy back a little bit. Stack your shoulders, your elbows, your wrists. Bring your knees underneath your hips. And then inhale, drape a soft belly down towards the ground. And exhale, reverse the movement. Dome out your upper back, navel to your spine. Let your head hang. And then inhale, belly down, press your heart forward. And then really take your sits bones, your tail back and spread. And then exhale, reverse it. Dome out your upper back, navel to your spine. Hang your head down. And then you do have this option to stay here, cat and cow. We did just open up the thoracic spine with our supported heart opener. So if you prefer to start moving circularly, taking circles with the hips, moving through the length of your mat, that is available. If you would like some wrist stretches instead, you can also just stay cat and cow and stretch out through your wrists. Lots of options here to just gently warm up and welcome yourself physically to your practice. It's kind of the beauty of doing this from home. There's no pressure to do what anybody else is doing, right? It's just you. Sometimes it just being you is also the part that's the most terrifying. So just lean in. Whatever shows up, be there with that. And then come right back into your neutral spine. And then take your right leg out to the side body. Press the outer edge of your right foot down and turn all 5 toes forward. Now root your right palm to the earth. Inhale, take your left arm up to the sky. And then exhale, thread the left arm underneath the right. Come down onto your left ear, your temple, your shoulder. And then your left peace fingers might reach towards your right big toe. It is early, y'all, so don't feel like you have to get all the way into this, right? Just starting to open up through the shoulders, getting a twist. Now your right hand can reach forward.
You could rotate your right armpit towards your left elbow crease, but you could also take your right arm, wrap it around the small of your back with your fingertips searching for the left hip crease as you slightly turn your gaze up. Take one more inhale here. And then exhale to soft release of your right hand back down. Inhale, float your left arm up to the sky. Exhale, leave your right leg as it is. Bring your left hand down to the ground. And then shift your hips back towards your left heel for a funky child's pose. Walk your arms forward and take your torso down. Beautiful. Staying right there. And then if you're like, I hate that, you can skip it, right? If it's too much on the knees, like the flexion, if it's too much on the hips, the inner thighs, the groin, at any point, you skip, right? And then next inhale, press back up onto hands and left knee. Float your right leg up and back. Beautiful. And then on your exhale, right knee to your chin, your chest, your nose. Step your right foot all the way through. Slide your left knee back just a little bit. And then inhale, let your hips sink down and forward. Roll your shoulders back, lift your chest. Stay for the exhale. Pull your inner thighs towards one another. Now inhale, bring your shoulders over your hips, your arms up over your head. Nice. Stay for the exhale. So Salamba Anjaneyasana, your supported crescent lunge. Inhale to reach your fingertips a little bit higher. And then exhale, take your elbows back and down. Open up through your chest. And then inhale, reach your arms to the sky. On the exhale, right hand grabs left wrist and hinge over to the right. Stretch through your left side body. Beautiful. And then inhale, come right back through center. Switch the grip. Left hand circles right wrist. This one might feel a little bit awkward and less balanced. On the exhale, hinge over to the left and stretch through your right side waist. Breathe. And then inhale, both arms to the sky. Exhale, twist over to the right. Take your left elbow to the outside of your right knee or thigh. Now, if this is more than what you've got at this point, you can stay lifted and go into an open arm twist with your left arm forward, your right arm back, and your shoulders stay lifted over your hips. Otherwise, you're here. Thumbs might be pressing in towards heart center. And you breathe. Good. And then inhale, rotate back. Reach your arms to the sky. Exhale, bring your hands down. Shift your hips back, straighten through your right leg, and flex your toes back towards your shin. Now draw your right hip back, your left hip forward. Melt your heart towards your right ankle, right? And breathe. And then as you inhale, walk yourself forward. But on the exhale, bring your hands to the inside of your right foot. Heel toe your right foot over. Stay here momentarily. Inhale. Now lift your left toes and spin them towards the right edge of your mat. So your left toes are towards the long edge of your mat. Your hands are to the inside of your right foot, and you're just here. Now perhaps you walk your hands over to the left, and you go a little bit deeper. If your right knee can stay on top of your shin or your ankle, you have the option to walk your hands out like you would a downward facing dog sensation and melt your forehead down. Breathe. Now the idea here is if I offer something and you get into it and you're like, oh, wait, that's too much, that's too far. That's not when you throw in the towel. You go back to that point where you were like, I can be here, right? I know some of y'all. Now walk your hands back. Flip your left toes back towards the back of your mat. Your hands are still to the inside of your right foot. Now curl up your left toes, lift your left knee. This is your inhale. Exhale, step your left foot outside of your left hand. Heels in, toes out, bottoms low. Hands to heart center. Malasana yogic squat. Now at some point, your shoulders are going to start to stack over your hips. It's okay if you're not there yet and you're still kind of rounded, but Eventually, your spine lengthens, the tailbone tips down, but your shoulders lift. Breathe. Good, y'all. Now, hands come down to the ground. Inhale, lift your hips, straighten your legs, turn your toes forward, leave your feet separated. And then exhale, deep bend into your knees. Take your ribs to your thighs, let your head hang, and grab onto opposite elbows. And let's just kick it here for a second. You can sway your torso around. You could stay still. I don't know what you need today. So maybe you try both of those out, and then whichever one is the most beneficial. My teacher and friend, Amy Johnson, reminded us yesterday, our tendency is to always move towards what feels good. And even as yoga teachers, we say that a lot, like do what feels good, right? And it comes from a good place. But what feels good isn't always what you need. So sometimes you have to sit for a moment and discern what is the most beneficial to me in this moment. And if it's not the thing that just feels good, then you've got to find the other thing, right? And sometimes it is just feeling good. But then sometimes it's pushing into a little bit of discomfort, never pain. So let your hands come back down towards the earth. And then on your inhale, roll yourself all the way up. Root to rise, press your feet down. Reach your arms out and up. And then exhale, hands come down to heart center. Give yourself a breath. Inhale, reach your arms out and up. And exhale, hinge forward, chest to your thighs. Let your head go. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, bring your hands down, step your feet back. High plank. Inhale, bring your knees to the earth. Press your bottom up. Exhale, Ashtangasana, knees, chest, chin. So you're like a little inchworm. Gaze forward. Hug your elbows in. Pull the pit of your belly up. And then you inhale, slide through all the way to your pubic and your toenails. Press your palms down, roll your shoulders back, lift your chest. And then exhale to a child's pose, hips to your heels, Balasana. And then inhale, press up into your box pose. And exhale, take your left leg out to the side body. All 5 toes point forward. Seal the outer edge of your left foot down. And then inhale, reach your right arm to the sky. Exhale, right arm weaves underneath the left. Come down to your right ear, your temple, your shoulder. And start breathing deeply through your right side lung, right? So feel how that, as you increase the breath, how that changes the sensation of what's happening in your upper back, your rhomboid, all of that, right? And then your left arm can either reach forward, it can wrap around the small of your back in a half bind, it can do all these things. And then take one more inhale. Release your left hand back to the earth as you exhale. Press your palm down. Inhale, right arm to the sky. And exhale, your right hand comes down. Shift your hips back. Left leg stays out to the side body. So it's your funky child's pose. Hips to your right heel. And then your forehead could come down. You're breathing. You can always just go right back into traditional child's pose if you're not feeling this variation. Exhale completely. Inhale, press up onto your right knee and your hands. Float your left leg up and back. And exhale, knee to your chin, your chest, your nose. Step your left foot all the way through. Your hands could be on blocks here at the top of your mat. Shift your right knee back just a little bit. Allow for your pelvis to soften down and forward. Feel that stretching sensation all through your right frontal hip and your right side psoas even. And then firm up the inner thighs. Inhale, shoulders over your hips, arms up over your head. Stay for your exhale. Inhale to reach your fingertips higher. And then exhale, bring your elbows back and down. Open up through your chest. Inhale, arms to the sky. Left hand encircles right wrist. Get as long as you can first. And then exhale, hinge over to the left, stretching through your right side body. And then inhale, both arms to the sky. Switch up your grip, right hand, left wrist. Get long first. And then exhale, hinge over to the right. Inhale, both arms to the sky. Option to stay lifted and just open arm twist with right arm forward, left arm back. Or exhale, hinge forward, twist over to the left. Seal your palms, thumbs towards your sternum. Think of telescoping your spine. So you inhale, it's almost like you lengthen, the left hip is pulling back. And then you exhale to twist a little bit deeper. Left knee is a 90-degree bend. One more breath. Inhale right back to Salamba Anjaneyasana, supported crescent lunge. Exhale, hands down, shift your hips back, Ardha Hanumanasana, your half split. So you straighten through the left leg, pull your left hip back, right hip forward, and flex your toes back towards your shin. Breathe. And on your inhale, walk yourself forward. Hands come into the inside of your left foot. On the exhale, heel toe your left foot slightly over. And then lift your right toes. Spin them towards the left side edge of your mat. So towards the opposite long edge. Good. Breathe here. Whew. I feel that in the groin a lot. So here's the deal. Staying here is perfectly fine. If you want to walk your hands over to the right and kind of walk your arms out and press your chest down, you can. You want your left knee to stay straight over your shin, over your ankle. Breathe. And then you walk your hands back. If you took that variation, walk yourself back towards the top of your mat. Spin your right toes towards the back of your mat. So you're right back into your low lizard. So from here, inhale, curl up your back toes, lift your back knee. And then exhale, step your right foot outside your right hand. Malasana yogic squat again, drop your bottom. All right, so we're gonna be here. Pull this hair underneath my cap here. Beautiful, y'all. And then if you choose to go a little bit more, your right arm comes out in front of your right shin and your left arm reaches up towards the sky. If it's there, naturally, you can take your right arm around your right shin, left arm around the small of your back, move into your bind. Feel the compression on the right side body. And then release and just take the opposite side. Hands pass through heart center first, and then your left arm can go in front of your left shin, right arm to the sky. You can stay here. You could also be sitting on a block right now. If the full or half bind is there for you, go for it. Breathe. Take one more inhale. And exhale, release. Bring your hands back to the ground. Inhale, lift your hips, turn your toes forward, straighten out your legs. Exhale, forward fold. Uttanasana, let it all go. And then I'm going to bend one knee and then the other. And I'll be honest, that one just because it feels good. All right, so as you're ready, roll all the way up to standing. So root down into the four corners of your feet. I'm going to bring my feet underneath my hips. And then, root down into the four corners of your left foot. Slide your right foot in. And then perhaps you bring it up towards your calf. Or maybe all the way up and towards your inner thigh. Coming into tree pose. If you have Ardha Padmasana here, a half lotus, feel free to take it. I haven't done a whole lot of quad stretching, so it might be intense, but you could take the knife edge of your right foot towards your left hip crease, but your right knee would just fall down, right? So whatever feels most beneficial to you today, take that. And then draw the pit of your belly back. Take a slight tuck of your pelvis so you really feel this on the front of your right hip. And then pull your right knee back. Breathe. Arms are your choice. You could take them out. You could seal them at heart center if you need more shoulder opening. You could go reverse prayer, hands behind you, seal the palms, and then work the knife edge of your hands in between your shoulder blades. But breathe. Beautiful, y'all. And then it's a gentle release. Let your hands come back down. Turn your right knee forward and place your right foot down on the ground. Inhale, bend your knees, sit your hips back and down, reach your arms high. Perfect. Exhale, drop your left hand inside your shoulder blades and let your right hand catch your left elbow, but you're in a chair. Now, if you want full Gomukhasana, right arm reaches around and then right fingertips reach up towards your left hand. You're still breathing here. The back of your skull presses into the soft side of your left forearm. And then inhale, straighten through your legs. Keep the arms if it's available. And then exhale, hinge at your hips. Take your left elbow down and fold. If the arms are ever too much, just let them go. One more inhale. And then exhale, let your hands come down. Inhale, come all the way back up to standing, nice and slow. And exhale, arms down, Samastitihi. Fingertips to your IT bands, root down into the four corners of your right foot. And then slide your left foot either towards your right ankle, your right inner calf, or your right inner thigh. Those of you taking Ardha Padmasana, your half lotus, the knife edge of your left foot goes into your right hip crease. Your left knee will just fall open. Squeeze at the base of your pubic bone. So Mula Bandha, you're pulling your energy inward and upward. And then same thing, you can do whatever you need with your hands. They can reach out and up. They can go to heart center if you want reverse prayer to open up through the fronts of your shoulders, your chest again. Feel free. It also creates a supported back bend, really, in the upper back. And then remember this gentle tucking of your tail. It's going to intensify the front hip. And you gently draw your left knee back. All of this as you balance on the right foot. There can be a soft bend to your right knee. Release your hands first. Take your left knee forward. And then place your left foot down on the ground. Inhale, bend your knees, sit your hips back and down. Reach your arms high. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, drop your right fingertips in between your shoulder blades. Left hand catches your right elbow. Stretch first. Now on this side, I don't quite catch the bind. So what I do is take my left arm out, and then you internally rotate your left upper arm bone. So spin your palm back. And then I grab my shirt with my fingertips. And it's all good. It's perfect. I was about to say, I can get it. Then you're here for a moment.
Maybe drop a little bit lower. Your chin is neutral. So not overly tucked, not lifted, not overly lifted, right? Breathe here. Drishti straight forward, straight ahead, your gaze. And then you inhale, straighten through the legs. Keep the arms. Exhale, hinge at your hips. Take your right elbow down towards the earth and fold. One more inhale here. And then everybody release your hands down as you exhale, shake it out. Inhale to lengthen your spine. Exhale, the hands come down, step your feet back. And then just lift up and back to downward facing dog. So press your chest back towards your thighs, let your head hang down, and really lift up your tailbone. Now here in your downward facing dog in your inverted letter V, your outer heels kind of line up with your pinky toes. And then come down onto your hands and your knees. Press back to a quick child's pose. You roll your forehead side to side if that feels right. And then inhale, press up into your box pose. Exhale, curl up your toes, lift your hips up and back. Inhale, float your right leg up to the sky. Exhale, step your right foot all the way through. Option to bring your left knee down or keep it lifted. Inhale, shoulders over your hips, arms up over your head. Option here to exhale, open arm twist, so your left arm goes forward, right arm goes back. Or exhale into a full twist to the right, left elbow to the outside of your right knee or thigh. Thumbs to your heart center. Drishti to the right side of the room. Now press down into the big toe ball mound of your right foot. And then inhale, come right back up, shoulders over hips, arms up overhead. Exhale, your left heel goes flat, find your warrior two. Gaze to your right fingertips. Breathe here. Inhale, straighten your right leg. Bump your left hip back. You can shorten your stance if you want. Exhale, Utthita Trikonasana, triangle pose. Right hand comes down, left arm reaches to the sky. Now, traditional gaze point, drishti, would be at your top hand. If that doesn't feel good in your neck, just gaze over to the left side of the room. Good, y'all. Now take one more inhale. Stay for your exhale. Inhale to warrior two. Bend into your right knee, arms out like a T. And then exhale, windmill your hands down. Frame your front foot with your hands. Parallel your back toes. Now soften your back knee down to the ground. Inhale here. Exhale, heel toe your right foot over to your half pigeon. So Ekapada Raja Kapotasana. Slide your left leg long behind you. Now inhale to pull your heart forward. And then exhale to come down. So you could create a little pillow with your hands. Your right shin could be up to parallel with the top of your mat, or your heel all the way in towards your groin. Anywhere in between.
Notice where you're starting to tense up or brace for impact. See if you can soften, release, and let that go. All right, y'all, slide your hands back. Now on your inhale, lift your chest. And then as you exhale, roll to your right hip and let your left leg come out long in front of you. Just bring the sole of your right foot towards your left inner thigh and Janu Shirshasana A. So press your right foot, like feel the connection. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. And then exhale, hinge at your left hip and fold over your left leg. Spin your navel towards the left thigh bone. And just keep breathing. And when you're ready, slowly lift your gaze and then bring your shoulders over your hips. All right, y'all. Lift up your right knee and then drop your right hip back down. Your right foot is down on the earth. There's a little bit of space between your right inner arch and your left inner thigh. Right arm is going to be a second spine behind your right hip. Inhale, lift your left arm high. And exhale, twist in towards your right leg. So you have the option to hug it in with your left arm or to slide your elbow to the outside of your thigh. Now inhale, lengthen. Exhale to twist a little bit more. I like to sometimes take my left finger petals and kind of roll my right collarbone back. Depends on how I'm feeling that day, right? You might gaze over your right shoulder. And on your inhale, turn your gaze forward. And then as you exhale, drop your hands over to the left. And then you inhale, come back to center. Leave your leg as it is. So option here. With your inhale, left hand is going to come behind your left hip. I want you to inhale, reach your right arm high. And then as you exhale, flip your palm out. So you're internally rotating your right upper arm bone. Reach for the left outer arch of your foot. So like the outer arch of your left foot. Now, if it gets there, if you catch your foot, you're cleared to take or attempt the Marichyasana bind, right? If it's not grabbing onto the foot, just stay where you are. It's all good. Ideally, what's going to happen is your right shoulder is going to clear your right knee, and then you wrap your right arm around your right knee, your right shin, your left arm wraps around the small of your back, and you take a full bind. If that happens, then you can inhale here and exhale, fold down. Let your forehead come down. Now, if you have the bind, and this is totally extra, y'all, but you can lift your head back up, you can rock back and lift your foot off the floor. It's a deep hip compression, right? But it's just a little extra. It's a lot of extra. And then you release. Bring both feet to the ground. Bring your hands behind your hips. Your knees are bent, fingertips pointing towards you. And then press the webbing between your thumb and your forefinger down and inhale into a reverse tabletop. Lift your hips. Keep the crown of your head reaching towards the back of your mat. Resist the urge to let your head fall back. And then sit it down. However you want to get to downward facing dog, that's you. You do your thing. I'm going to cross my feet at the ankles, bring my palms down, and step back. Take your time getting there. And then inhale. Take your left leg up to the sky. Exhale, step your left foot all the way through. Firm up your inner thighs before you even come up. You do have the option to bring your right knee down. Inhale, shoulders over your hips, arms up over your head. And then either open arm twist, right arm forward, left arm back, or you hinge at the left hip, twist, seal your palms at heart center. Now watch your right hip. If it starts to dump down, you firm up your right side waist, your obliques, and you pull your right hip up. And you breathe. Now exhale completely. Inhale, rotate front and center. Exhale, your right heel goes flat. You might have to lengthen out your stance. Warrior two, arms out like a T. Left toes, left knee are at 12 o'clock. Right toes are angled ever so slightly inward. Gaze over to your left fingertips. And then inhale, lengthen through your left leg. You might shorten your stance. Bump your right hip back. Reach your left fingertips forward and down. And you exhale into your triangle pose, right arm to the sky. Gaze to your right fingertips if it's supported by your neck. On your next inhale, warrior two, bend into your left knee. Open your arms out like a T. Exhale, windmill your hands down. Frame your front foot parallel back toes. Soften your back knee down. And then heel toe your left foot all the way over into your half pigeon. Right leg long and strong behind you. You can always take this on your back. Try to, if you're in traditional, the right hip is wrapping forward and down. And there's a baby flex to your left foot to support your left kneecap. And once you're down, just stay and breathe. Relax the upper body. And you start to slide your hands back. Press your palms down, lift your chest. And then you're going to roll over to the left and bring your right leg around. Janushirshasana. Sole of your left foot towards your right inner thigh. Your right leg is active. And so inhale, reach your arms out and up. Exhale, hinge at your right hip and fold. Now for those of you where the hands just easily pass the right foot, and that doesn't need to be a goal. I'm just saying if it happens, you could right hand circle left wrist, and that's going to pull you further down. Breathe. You could also have a deep bend to your right knee, a gentle bend. Lift your gaze, slowly walk yourself back up. And now lift your left knee, the left foot seals to the ground. And then the left hand behind your left hip. Sorry, my AirPod fell out. Inhale, reach your right arm high. Exhale, twist over to the left. So either hugging your left knee in or taking your right elbow to the outside of your left knee or thigh. Right leg is active. Now on your inhale, turn your face, your gaze forward. Exhale, drop your hands over to the right. Get your counter twist first. Now come back for center. Lengthen your spine. So your left hip is dropping down. And then your right hand is behind you so that you can get as much length as possible. Left arm to the sky. Internally rotate your left upper arm bone, and then you hinge forward and reach for the outer edge of your right foot. If that happens and you catch it, working towards that Varichyasana bind. If you don't, you just keep your left hand wherever it is. Left arm would wrap around your left shin, right arm around the small of your back. So you stay here. Inhale. If it's available, exhale, fold over. Breathe. Now, if you have the bind, you have the option to lift up and to bring the left foot with you. Breathing here. And then we all release. Extend both legs long behind you, or behind you, in front of you. And then move all of your flesh out of the way so that your sits bones come down to the ground. And then inhale, reach your arms up overhead. And on the exhale, hinge at your hips, reach towards your feet. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold. All right. Slowly roll yourself up. Bring your feet to the ground and take a C curve to your spine. And roll yourself down one vertebra at a time. You're going to come down onto your back. Walk your feet back. Feet are about hip width distance apart. And then bring your hands down next to your hips for bridge pose, Setu Bandhasana. Inhale, press your feet down and away from you. And I want you to curl your tail, your pubic bone up towards your navel. So you're also curling your tail up. You're going one vertebra at a time to lift your hips up and off of the ground. Feel your inner thighs, your quadriceps, your hamstrings, low back, middle back, upper back. Perhaps you work your arms underneath your shoulders. Catch a bind with your hands. Padahasta below your sacral area. And breathe. One more inhale. And then exhale, slowly come down. Supta Baddha Konasana. Once you're there, soles of your feet together, heels in towards the sits bones. Let your knees hang comfortably open. All right, y'all. Slowly bring your knees back up. If you need to windshield wiper the knees side to side or even move into a deeper twist, be my guest. Right? This is your practice. And then if you would
like to, I'm going to take a supported waterfall. So I'm grabbing my block, press my feet down, inhale, lift my hips, slide the block underneath my sacrum, and then let everything kind of soften back down. And again, if that feels too hard, or if you have a foam block, you're probably fine. But if you have a cork block like mine, you might put a towel on top of it or something. That doesn't bother me that much, but it's a little hard. And then typically one leg at a time. Eventually you have both legs up, but you do take one up at a time. Bring your feet into the sky. And if you want to skip the supported part and just do this with your low back on the ground, that's cool too. And then slowly bring your feet down to the earth. Press them into your mat so that you can inhale, lift your hips, slide the block out from underneath you. Exhale, soften your bottom down to the ground. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Take an inhale. Exhale, round your forehead up to your knees. Hug everything in. One more inhale here. And then exhale, extend your legs out in front of you. Let your feet hang comfortably open. Arms can extend out. You can sprawl out, unfurl. Find that space where you can truly drop into your Shavasana. Allow for everything else to slip away for this brief moment in time. And rest. Enjoy. If what you need is to be here a little bit longer, you're going to tune me out and stay right where you are. Otherwise, begin to deepen your breath, to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And on your inhale, take your arms up overhead. Find your full body stretch. And on the exhale, hug your knees in towards your chest. And then you can roll over to the right or press up straight away into your comfortable, easy sit, your Sukhasana. Crossing your feet at the ankle. We'll all meet there. Hands can rest in your lap on your knees, or you can seal your palms together in Anjali Mudra with your thumbs at heart center. So take that final moment, that pause, to be grateful for our bodies, for what they do for us today, to be hopeful for tomorrow. So thank you all for being here, whenever it is that you take this practice, and namaste.